Hello, everyone. Surprise. I was not planning on going live today because, oops, hold on. I don't want to hear myself talking. I had to turn the phone down. I wasn't going to go live because one, I'm exhausted. We had state testing today, which always, it's not that we do a lot during it, but it just makes the day seem like forever. And then I had a meeting after work, so I didn't get home until late. I wanted to get pizza, and I actually did a survey in one of my classes. The winner was pizza. So I get off the highway to go to this pizza place, and I see this police activity, and I'm like, what in the world is going on here? Well, two tractor trailers collided. One didn't realize he didn't have enough room to turn left, and so his trailer went into the cab of the other. And so the road was blocked off the highway. So I had to get back on the highway and head home. And now I'm home. So what should have been a 45-minute drive home took over an hour because of all of these unplanned circumstances. So at work, I had a moment and I was just through headlines. I saw that they had made 2 arrests in the Dadeville, Alabama case. And I was going to do a recorded video and then release it, but I said, you know what? It's just go live. This is going to be a short one, maybe 25 minutes to a half hour. And then I've got some things that some videos I need to finish putting together. I have all the clips set. I just need to put them in order. And I did listen to my friend Betty on the way home, and I will be doing a voiceover that I will post probably later tonight if I can stay awake. So getting into this case in Florida, for those of you who may not know this case, it happened this past Saturday night around 10:30. It was a Sweet 16 birthday party at a local dance studio, and 4 teenagers, young adults, teenagers, lost their lives, and 32 others were injured. Today, the Alabama law enforcement released a statement that 2 teenagers were arrested in connection to this egregious act. So I'm going to start this with the press conference. I'm only going to show the sergeant and the DA speak because it is a 20-minute press conference. However, the links are in the description already. So if you would want to watch the rest of the press conference, that link will be there for you. So, excuse me. I'm going to get the press conference up first, and then there is an article that I found on CNN that I think really not only remembers the victims, but shows us what the environment was like that night and how tragic this truly is. So first we're going to do the press conference, and as a little disclaimer, we have gotten a lot of rain where I'm at, and whenever it rains a lot, the internet misbehaves and doesn't want to cooperate. So hopefully, I did watch the press conference through one time already, so I'm hoping that will help with the buffering, but you never know. So, hey, Voices and Bash, Mystery Queen, hi. Oh no. I wanted to do this video. So there just doesn't seem to be enough time in the day. So but hello everyone. Hello A. I would not stay here, niece, because this isn't really for you, girlfriend. But I appreciate you coming and saying hi. So let's get started with the press conference. And I want to just say, I really like this sergeant. I really like the way that he speaks and relays the information in a straightforward but compassionate way. And I think he's the best person to be at the forefront of this case. All right.
Where are they now? I can't speak to that. What is the known?
Oh, what is? Hold on. Hold the phone. Why did it fast forward all to the end? My word. Okay, here we go.
Relative to the death investigation.
Oh, jeez. This thing is not being cooperative. Come on.
I'm Jeremy Burkett, Sergeant with the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. And on behalf of the Secretary Al Taylor and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency State Bureau of Investigation, I'm going to provide an update relative to the death investigation that occurred here in Dadeville in Tallapoosa County. On Tuesday, April 18th, at approximately 8 p.m., National Law Enforcement Agency's State Bureau of Investigation officially arrested and charged Tyree McCullough, 17 of Tuskegee, and Travis McCullough, 16, also of Tuskegee, with 4 counts of reckless murder each. That's 4 counts of reckless murder each. And I really want to, before we go any further, thank this community and the information that was provided. And I also want to reiterate how important it is going to be for you to continue to do that. Please understand, with a scene and a violent act, with the violence that went on and the magnitude of what happened, we are absolutely still in the early stages of this investigation. Okay? This is absolutely the beginning. This is not the end. There is a tremendous amount of work that is yet to be done. We're going to continue to do exactly what we've been doing. We're going to be very careful with everything that we say, with everything that we do, because we absolutely are going to stay focused on the families and the victims. But we're going to need the public's help when we do that. The other thing I want to point out, if you were at the venue that night, so if you were physically at the venue and you have not come forward, meaning you have not contacted law enforcement, please hear me. I absolutely want you to do that. We need you to come forward for these families, for these victims, okay? Please, I want to be clear, okay? Make no mistake. This is Alabama. And when you pull out a gun and you start shooting people, we're going to put you in jail, okay? We're going to do that because we're thinking about the families. We're concerned about the families. We were in the beginning, and we will be through the remainder of this investigation, because somebody's got to start thinking about mama. Because I know I'm tired of it, and everybody behind me is tired of it. We're tired of going to the mothers and having to tell them that these kids are not coming home. So that's what we're going to be concerned about. We're not concerned about the headlines. We're not. We're worried about mama. Okay? So that's going to be our focus, and we're going to stay laser focused on this event.
I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Somebody lost their camera feed, maybe? Oh boy, yes, oh. Okay, so this,
making
there we
changes
go.
in Randolph counties. I know that there has been some frustration among our community and among media about a lack of information that has been provided up to this point. And I want to explain part of the reason for that. As a prosecutor, I cannot discuss the specific facts of the case. It's highly inappropriate for me to come out and publicly talk about that and tell that information. And the reason is being defendants have constitutional rights. They've got to be tried by a jury of their peers inside this building. They have a right to be represented by counsel. And for me to come out here and give information about what's going on in the investigation, I can't discuss the details of that with y'all. And I apologize, but I hope you'll understand that. Nor can law enforcement. So we won't be discussing all the details. I can tell you a few things about the process of what will happen next with these individuals. First, they'll be entitled to an advised law hearing, which is a bond hearing. It will have to occur within 72 hours. The state of Alabama will be requesting no bond. That's up to a judge to decide, but that will be the state of Alabama's position. After that, there'll be an initial court appearance. Then there'll be a preliminary hearing, and then this information, depending on the outcome of that, will go to a grand jury. The grand jury system in Alabama and each circuit operates differently. Here in Tallapoosa County, the grand jury convenes twice a year, once in March and then once again in September. Once the grand jury is impaneled in March, they are still the grand jury for that 6-month period. We can recall the grand jury to present an indictment under special situations. That's unprecedented and hasn't been done that I'm aware of anytime recently here. This is an unprecedented situation. If we can establish the facts and are ready to present that, we will be asking our grand jury to come back in to present that so we can move forward efficiently and effectively. This is a very complex case. We mentioned 4 counts of reckless murder. Obviously, that just includes the 4 deceased that have been reported. Okay, we've got a lot more victims in this. We've still got 4 that are in hospital, 4 that are in critical condition. There'll be pending charges coming regarding all those. So when I tell you that this is just the tip of the iceberg and forthcoming charges, literally, we're going to make sure every one of those victims has justice and not just the deceased. I'd be remiss if I didn't just say a thank you to all the agencies. I'm not going to try to name them all because there's been so many. Literally, every agency from federal, state, and local that has been involved in this, without the resources that they have brought to our community, we would not be where we are and have already made these first arrests here today. I will tell you that even though these are 16 and 17-year-olds, we will be charging them as adults in this. When I spoke to the press on Sunday, I started off by talking about the victims and the victim services, and I want to go back over that. We have information on our website, www.fifthcircuitva.org, that has information to provide to victims and victims' families. And we've got victim services from the FBI, victim services from the Attorney General's office, victim service from the Office of Prosecutorial Services, as well as our office. They're all working to provide the needs to the victims. It's not just the 28 injured and 32 dead. No. There were so many.
And I want to pause it here just because as this district attorney was talking, I I thought he was nervous and was emotional. So that's a misstatement. There were 32 injured and 4 dead. I believe he got the numbers mixed up, and there were not 32 who lost their lives. So I just wanted to point that out because he did misspeak.
The kids in this venue and what they saw, it's their victims in this. Their families are victims of this, and ripple effect of this. It's kind of like a wave rolling across Lake Martin, but that ripple didn't stop when it hit the banks. There are other communities involved. There are kids from Reeltown here. One of the ones in critical condition had gone to the prom that night in Reeltown. There's kids from Tallahassee, kids from Booker T. W., kids from Alexander City. We haven't even identified possibly, where all some of these kids came from. And it's a traumatic thing for them. And if they need help, our services are available for them as well. And talking about the victims, I'll share something with you. I'm going to try not to get emotional, and I'm not going to be taking any questions because I probably will. But one of the victims that wasn't injured is Lexi Dadeville. It's Lexi's 16th birthday party. Sweet 16. There's an uncut cake and unburned 16 candles that never got lit. Lexi's brother is one of the victims. On her 16th birthday party, she was knelt by her brother as he took his last breath. That's what we're dealing with here. Those are what these victims went through. The message that I want to send is, I know some of these victims personally. Some of these kids are kids of friends of mine, people that I went to school with, people that I played ball with and against, in the community back in high school. And these are my kids. These are our kids. Don't mess with our kids. Do not mess with our kids. Thank you.
Okay, so I am going to stop that press conference there. Again, if you would like to watch the remainder of it, it is in the description, but I thought those 2 pieces were the most important in what I had seen. And to keep this live somewhat short, I didn't want to play the whole thing. The next thing before I get into the article that I want to read to all of you, I did find the Alabama code for excuse me, reckless murder, because I hadn't necessarily heard of the term reckless murder. So I looked it up and I was able to find the penal code that talked about what it is, what it means. So this is under the code for murder or extreme indifference to human life with provocation. So just to kind of talk about this, a person commits the crime of murder if, under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life, he or she recklessly engages in conduct which creates a grave risk of death to a person other than himself or herself, and thereby causes the death of another person. And they then go into what's needed in order to convict. But what I really wanted to look at is, because they had said reckless murder, this is where it says a person acts recklessly in regards to his or her conduct if, 1, the actor is aware that there is a substantial and unjustifiable risk that death will occur. 2, the risk of death is so great that the actor's failure to recognize this risk is a gross deviation from the standard of behavior to which a reasonable person would hold himself or herself in the same situation. And 3, the actor consciously disregards this substantial and unjustifiable risk. So I wanted to read that because, one, I didn't understand what reckless murder was, and with that being said, I thought maybe some of us in the audience wouldn't know either. So this, I will also put the link if you wanted to read the rest of the penal code in relation to this, but I just wanted to point that out as some information we may not know. The last thing I'm going to share is this article from CNN. The one thing I did notice when I Googled Alabama shooting updates, there's not a whole lot of a lot of mainstream media covering this that I could see. Maybe it was just because I didn't really look through all the articles, but a lot of them were in regards to when it first happened, not necessarily any update. So this article I really liked because it went more into the victims, and that's who we want to remember in this case. So 2 teens face murder charges for the Sweet 16 party massacre that left 4 dead and 32 injured. And again, these are 3 of the victims who lost their lives. And this, I believe it's this one is Phil, who is the brother. The one on the far left is the brother of Lexi, who was the girl celebrating her 16th birthday. 2 Alabama teens have been arrested and face murder charges in the deadly rampage at a weekend Sweet 16 birthday party. Give me a second. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. A Sweet 16 birthday party in Dadeville, State Police said Wednesday. Tyreek McCullough, 17, and Travis McCullough, 16, both of Tuskegee, were arrested tonight. Each faces 4 counts of reckless murder. The attack Saturday night left 4 people dead and at least 32 others hurt, including at least 15 teenagers who suffered gunshot wounds. Given the injuries, more charges will be filed and both suspects will be charged as adults. We've still got 4 that are in the hospital. 4 are in critical condition. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The carnage was one of at least 165 U.S. mass shootings, with 4 or more shot, excluding a gunman, in the first 4 months of this year. But it's still not clear why the young victims were massacred. We can't get into motive right now, Burkett said. That would be part of an ongoing investigation. We can't share that. Authorities also didn't say what connection, if any, the 2 suspects had to Alexis Dowdle's Sweet 16 party. Their hometown, Tuskegee, is about 30 miles south of Dadeville. The party was in full swing when gunfire erupted. Her 18-year-old brother, Phil Dowdle, was killed along with Marcia Emmanuel Collins, 19, Shankivia Kiki Nicole Smith, 17, and Corbin DeMontre Holston, 23. A candlelit vigil honoring Phil is scheduled for 6 p.m. Central Time Thursday at the Mount Lovely Baptist Church in Camp Hill, Alabama. I just want justice for my baby. After 4 days of agony and uncertainty, the family of one slain victim was relieved to learn 2 suspects had been arrested. I'm happy that the investigation is going well and someone is going to be responsible for all the victims, said LaShonda Allen, the aunt of Alexis and Phil Dowdle. She said her family did not recognize the names of the 2 suspects who were not invited to the party. For her sister, LaTanya Allen, what should have been a night of jubilation for her daughter's 16th birthday instead led to a lifetime of anguish after the death of her 18-year-old son. Phil was shot twice in the neck and died 1 month before high school graduation. He had been looking forward to attending Jacksonville State University on a football scholarship. I just want justice for my baby and all the other kids that were involved. They took away a piece of my heart, and I know the other mothers and fathers feel the same way. In addition to the 4 victims killed, another 32 people were injured. Among them, at least 15 teens were shot and taken to Dadeville's Lake Martin Community Hospital. He helped save his sister from gunfire, then died. Alexis had been planning her Sweet 16 for months and started feeling, quote, butterflies in my stomach the day of the party, she told CNN. She went to her brother and sat down on his bed to tell him she was nervous. Phil comforted her and assured her she would have fun. And this is a family photo. It says undated. So Phil is on the far right. Alexa or Lexi is next to him, and then mom, and this looks like a younger sibling. Hours later, at the party, their mother heard a rumor that someone at the venue was armed. Alan made a stern announcement over the speaker. She said, quote, if anyone in here has a gun, then you need to leave because we're here to celebrate Alexis's Sweet 16. Alan and other chaperones scoured the crowd for anyone carrying a gun, but didn't see one. And Alexis, her mother, and the DJ didn't hear a fight or any disturbance. But right then, as the teens were partying to the music of a DJ, gunfire erupted. All I remember is my brother grabbing me and pushing me down to the ground. She fell into a puddle of blood. Alexis got up and ran outside, where she reunited with her mom, but Phil was nowhere to be found. Then the shooting stopped. Mother and daughter went back inside. Bodies of the injured and dying lay scattered across the dimly lit dance floor. The lights flicked on, and horror revealed itself to Alexis and her mom. Phil's body was soaked in blood. Alexis ran to comfort her big brother as he drifted in and out of consciousness. You're going to make it. You're strong, she told Phil. Don't give up on me. But by the time first responders arrived, Phil was gone. Now, Alan is left to deal with the torment no mother should have to endure. It's a nightmare that I don't wish on any parent. To go in and to see my baby laying there in a pile of blood, that was the worst thing that I could experience in my life. Okay, so that was pretty heavy there. And to think that on her 16th birthday, she now has to not remember the joy and the fun and the excitement, but what she's going to remember is the nightmare that she lost her brother, who sacrificed himself to save her. So I just really thought that this article gave sense to the emotions and the horror that happened. So let me just look at some comments. All right, so I was there. Hey, Jeffrey, good to see you. I believe the mom did suffer a gunshot wound. Actually, let me stop sharing so you don't have to look at the article. Actually, I'm going to see. Let's see. So sorry about that. I'm going to show this video. I just Googled to see if I could find what the mom's injuries were, but there is an interview where Alexis and her mom speak to, it looks like CBS News. And I'm just going to let me turn this volume down first because this ad is super loud. So this is her and her mom speaking to CBS.
Police in Dadeville, Alabama are searching for the shooter or shooters, because there may be more, who opened fire at a Sweet 16 party. There have not been any arrests yet, but we are learning more about the details of what unfolded during that attack. The shooting took place at a dance studio. 4 people died. More than 28 people were injured. Some of them are in critical condition. Now, for the first time, we are hearing from the mother of 16-year-old Alexis Dadeville. This was her birthday party. We spoke with CBS News correspondent Omar Villafranca. Let's listen.
I was standing in front of the door because I was monitoring outside, and I just heard like a gunshot. And when I heard the gunshot, I started to run from the building. Then I came back when it stopped. And by the time I got back, I just saw the door open, everybody rushing out and running.
Alexis's brother, Phil, was one of the victims in the shooting. Omar Villafranca joins us now from Dadeville. Omar, thanks for joining us. First of all, just amazing that you were able to hear from her. Tell us how mother and daughter are doing. It was, joyous Sweet 16 celebration. What else did they have to tell you? Did you talk to both of them?
Well, they're saying that they have good days and bad days, good times and bad times right now. It comes in waves, the grief does.
I've always wondered why reporters ask these stupid questions, because it's not even, at this point, it hadn't even been a week since the event, and to ask someone like how they're doing, I just feel is so insensitive and stupid. Like, how do you think they're feeling?
Both mom and daughter say that they've been crying, and they're also still in shock at what happened. Mind you, this was something that they had been planning for a while. It's a Sweet 16 birthday party, happened right behind me here. And what made it interesting is that Alexis was telling me, the sister, that they were close. She had just made varsity cheer this year. So on Friday nights, she was there with her brother, who was a football star. So here she was being able to cheer on her brother playing on Friday. And it was great. They would always take pictures after the game, her in her cheerleading uniform, him in the football uniform. And he was the big brother there with his little sister. Mother, Latanya, was telling me that she's in shock. She said he always had a smile on his face. This was a kid who was doing something with his life. He was, after playing well on Friday nights, he earned the honor to play on Saturdays. He was going to go to Jackson State and play football. And that was something he was looking forward to doing. And she had the dates down, still in her head. May 25th, he graduates. May 31st, he is going to Jackson State. Now she says she's still in shock because she's in the process of planning his funeral. But I want to tell you a little bit about what Alexis told me. When she was inside on her phone, as 16-year-olds are, a DJ's playing, and the shots rang out. And this is what she had to say.
I ducked down. I was in front of the DJ, I ducked down, and then my brother came and grabbed me, but he pushed me to the ground. And then the gunshots were still going off, so I had waited a little bit, then I got back up, and it was like people bodies just at the door, so I just jumped over them, and I just ran out the door.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I just can't imagine what this mother and sister are going through. We learned a little bit about Phil, Latanya's son, and Alexis's brother. What else can you tell us about the other victims? We're learning more about who died.
We have a 17-year-old, and there's also a 19-year-old and a 23-year-old. Other one was also in school. The 17-year-old was as well. But the 19 and 23-year-old, we're still learning more about them too. Like I said, we're not getting a lot of information from police officers. So what we're having to do is go and and talk to community members and people who were here. And of course, we want to cut through some of the clutter, and we don't want to hear from a person of a person. We want to get as close as we can to the source for this information. But let me tell you something that was fascinating that Alexis told me, that she said at her Sweet 16 birthday party, this is a place where they wouldn't expect to see a gun at all. And she said that there was rumors that somebody had a gun. And so people got freaked out. Her mom literally went and stopped the party and turned the lights on and says, if you are over 18, you need to get out of here. If you're over 18, you have a gun, you need to leave. So they were cognizant that there was possibly something going on, but they weren't sure. And then sure enough, the party continues. They thought they got any bad elements out. Then the shooting happens.
Oh my God, Omar. I just get chills hearing that. Just to hear how people do the right thing. It sounds like this mother was just so responsible in making sure that there's no danger, and then this. Thank you.
Okay, so that again, I feel like if you're going to have someone at your birthday party, you should know who they are. And someone had said in chat, with 32 injured, 4 deceased, how many people were in? I mean, it doesn't look like it's a very big venue. I'm sure it's bigger than it appears. However, if you have people at your party you don't know, I feel like they shouldn't be let in. Or I just think too, like, who would take it upon themselves to invite themselves to a party for someone they don't know? It makes no sense. And I, like the DA said, it was the DA or the sergeant, like how did these 2 other teenagers know that this party was going on? How did they know that they would be able to get in undetected? That no one would realize, who are these 2 people and why are they at my birthday party? So just a lot of questions that I'm sure as we go through this will be answered. I have not been able to find photos of the alleged shooters, and if I do, I will probably just post that on my community tab. So I am going to say goodbye for now, and thank you so much for being here. I very much appreciate it. I know it's not popular as my bestie Betty, but do not fret. There will be some videos of her nonsense coming soon. So with that, have a great night, and as always, I will see you all on the flip side.